Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about temporary orders. I'm Karla Kite and I am a certified divorce lending professional, otherwise known as a CDLP, who helps, ideally, both parties in a divorce situation. I'll be posting a new video every Tuesday and Thursday, so please make sure that you tune in for some really good home ownership tips when you're going through a divorce. While I do all types of residential lending, I do carry this special certification in divorce lending where I help you actually plan your divorce. I want to make sure you understood that because I'm not just putting together a loan transaction for you, I'm helping you to plan your divorce, and that's what really makes a CDLP different from your typical lender. I've helped over 1,000 families with their transactions in the last 5 years, and I mention that because when you're doing this, it is really, really important that you have the experience to back you up. I also want to give a quick disclaimer that while I can talk about some legal concepts, I am not giving legal advice here. So if you need legal advice, you do need to reach out to an attorney in your state that understands the laws which you have to separate and finalize your divorce under. You might just be starting out in the divorce process, or you might already be in the thick of it. That's okay, I can still help. And as much as I love sharing all of this advice, remember that it takes a lender with this special certification to really help you through the process. I'm not here to teach you how to do a mortgage, but I'm here just to make you aware of and raise some flags when you're going through the process so that you know when you need to reach out for help and the type of help that you need to get. My team and I would love to help you with any of your lending needs, but especially in the case of a divorce. All right, let's dive in. So why is it important to understand what temporary orders are and how they can help you? It's important because if you need that type of support to help you to qualify for the mortgage that you're applying for, whether it's to keep the marital home or to purchase a new home, it's important that you understand what you have to do in order to use that money as income to help you to qualify. The reason that we would put temporary orders in place is because we want to start that clock ticking as soon as possible. So what a lot of people don't understand is that for you to use that income to qualify for a mortgage, you have to have received it for a certain period of time. And that's very loan specific. So different loans have different requirements when it comes to how long you have to have shown that you've received this income. It also needs to be received on time every month. It can't be paid just in like one lump sum. Like let's say that the loan requires that you have received it for 3 months and you've never received it, so you have your ex hurry up and give you 3 months worth of payments. That won't work. We have to show that you have been receiving it for the past 3 months and that you've been receiving it on time. It doesn't have to be on the exact day, but if you're getting paid around the 5th of every month, it needs to be around the 5th of every month. It can't be on the 5th one month and on the 25th the following month. Something that's really important to understand when it comes down to this is that, like I mentioned, different loan types have different requirements. So if you are applying for an FHA loan, you have to show that you have received it for 3 months. If you're applying for a conventional loan, it's 6 months. And if you're applying for a jumbo loan, it can be 6 months to even 12, sometimes 18 months. So jumbo lenders set their own guidelines for this. If they follow the agency guidelines, which agency is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, conventional, then you can get away with only 6 months receipt. But a lot of the jumbo lenders set their own guidelines with everything. So of course they do it with child support and maintenance as well. And often they will ask for receipt of 12 months. Now it's also important to understand that not only do you have to show that you've received it for a certain period of time, you have to prove that it is also going to continue for a certain period of time. That's almost always 3 years. So we need to show that you've received it for X amount of months and that it will then continue for 3 years. Usually that is from the date of closing on your loan. There are some cases where they look at the application date, so we might be off by a month there. This is why it's really, really important to understand what kind of a loan you're trying to qualify for so that we can make sure that this is set up properly. Again, this is where a CDLP is really, really important as a person on your divorce team, because what we're facing now with the higher interest rates is that we're also not looking just at the current transaction that they're going to be doing today, or that you might be doing today, but we need to look down the road. Almost everybody that's purchasing a new home today or is forced to do a refinance due to their divorce is probably going to want to refinance in the next 12 to 36 months as the rates continue to drop. So it's important that we're planning forward. If you will still need this support for you to qualify at that time, we need to figure out if there's any way that we can stretch it out in the final separation agreement before you go to final decree. We want to make sure that this is put into place properly. Or maybe it's something like maybe we can't stretch the support out, but maybe your plan to become full-time, employed, maybe that is more of a plan that we reach for. Either way, we need to be looking forward and planning for this, because trust me, if you're doing a loan at 6 or 7% and the rates drop down to 4 or 5%, I know that you're going to want to take advantage of that and refinance to lower your monthly payment. So we just want to make sure that we're planning forward. So I want to explain a little bit how we can take that support amount and manipulate it. I'll be honest with you, there's not a whole lot that we can do about child support. And I want you to understand that, because if you have a child that is, 16 or 17 and you're receiving support for them, chances are we won't be able to use any of that because it's not going to continue for 3 years. Now, it's possible that you could write something special into your divorce so that it would continue on, but then your ex is probably going to want that amount to be lowered, and it might fall out of line within what you have to do within the law. So if your child is that old, using the child support is probably not going to work. But for maintenance, what we can do is we can take that full amount that has been agreed upon and we can manipulate it so that it works for underwriting guidelines. So let's say, for example, that you're going to be awarded, like $15,000 a month, but it's only going to be for 4 years. So what we would do in that case is we would take that total, so we would take the $15,000 a month times the 4 years, and we would come up with that total amount that you are being awarded, and we would just stretch it out. And so, maybe it would be $10,000 a month, but for a much longer period of time so that it works. As long as it works and it helps you qualify, we can do something like that. I think the other thing that we're maybe not thinking about here is that could also help your ex in qualifying for a mortgage, because that $15,000 a month might be killing their mortgage qualification. And if we lower it down to the $10,000 a month, that might help them so that they can qualify for a loan as well. Now, I used some pretty big amounts there for examples. I just pulled that out of the sky. So I just wanted you to know, I think that's also a big misconception that people that are going through divorce don't understand. If they think that if they're getting this large monthly amount from their ex, that it can be used no matter what. But they don't understand that there are guidelines that we have to follow. We have to show the receipt of, and we have to show the continuance of. Please keep in mind that every single divorce is unique and different, and we're not going to have the same plan for everybody. That's why it is so important that you include a CDLP on your divorce team so that they can help you wade through all of this and they can come up with a good plan and a good roadmap that works for you now and down the road. I know that many of you that are contemplating divorce right now have been up at night trying to figure this out, trying to work through these numbers, trying to understand what is possible and what's not possible. You're probably getting a lot of advice from friends, family, coworkers. Please make sure that you reach out to a professional that can really help you through this. It is important that we meet with you early on so that we understand what the loan type is that you're after, and so that we can understand what your qualification is. Because if we need to get temporary orders in place and you're in a somewhat amicable divorce, this is something that is usually very agreeable by both sides, right? Because you want to move on in homeownership. Hopefully your ex understands the importance of that, especially if you have children and they want you to remain in homeownership. It's never too early to figure out what your plan is or your path in divorce. What I hear from most of my clients is, I wish I would have called you sooner, or I wish I would have called you before my divorce was final. Please don't be that person. Please call and reach out so that we can help you come up with the best outcome for your divorce when it comes to your home ownership goals. Just as a reminder, I am a licensed mortgage lender. I would love to help you with any of your mortgage needs, but especially in the case of divorce. If you or you have friends or family that are going through a divorce, please refer them to me so I can help them with their home ownership goals. Again, the number is popping up right here, so you can call or text, pass along my contact information to anybody that you know that is contemplating a divorce. I am here and always happy to help. I will set up an individual one-on-one appointment. And I look forward to sharing again really soon.